Who's ready for a fun comedy about murder and revenge? Yeah. So Eddie Murphy plays Axel Foley, a cop in Detroit who often makes trouble and is a big troublemaking cop. And his friend, who got out of jail 6 months ago, comes to visit him in Detroit and says, "Oh, I worked in Beverly Hills. I was working as his bodyguard guy." They hang out for a little bit, and then these guys come up and kill his friend. And so now he's going to go to Beverly Hills to investigate. Against the wishes of his commanding officer and a bunch of other people. And now the cops in Beverly Hills are trying to stop him, and he's just having opposition at every turn. But Axel Foley is one cool dude, and he knows how to get past situations like this. Now, my first impression of this movie, when you first see it, you're kind of like, because there's this opening chase sequence which isn't particularly well directed, and it's just, there's this weird music in the background. It doesn't quite mesh well. But after a time, you kind of start to warm up to it. You start to see Judge Reinhold come on screen, start to see his conflict with Beverly Hills police, and over time, you kind of start getting invested in the story. Now, this is not the wacky, funny comedy donkey Eddie Murphy that we know. The performance is a little more nuanced than that. He's a little more smooth. He has a little bit more character to him. Eddie Murphy brings a certain charm and a certain charisma to this role that no one else would really be able to. I can't say exactly that Axel Foley is a very interesting character, but I couldn't imagine anyone but Eddie Murphy playing him. Now, I really like Judge Reinhold in this movie because Judge Reinhold is so good at playing innocent, idiotic type of characters. He knows how to make a character like that work. He knows how to do all these specific little head turns and little movement of the eyes and the mouth. He knows how to do comedy in that way, and he knows how to play an idiot really, really well. And at the same time, you do find his character relatively investing. Now, a role that really surprised me was John Ashton as Judge Reinhold's partner, Taggart. Taggart is a cop who is really resistant to Axel Foley at first. He's an experienced officer. He knows a lot about crime and about cop work and all of that. He had a really interesting character arc, and John Ashton portrayed that change extremely well. Now, this is a comedy, and I can't say that anything was really gut-bustingly funny. I never really found any of the jokes hilarious. I found a good bit of them charming, but it just wasn't all that funny to me. I don't know what it was. None of the jokes really hit me just right. And I like Caddyshack, I like Airplane, I like 80s comedies, but for some reason this just didn't hit me that well. Now, that's not to take away from the story, because it is a fairly involving story. Axel Foley is a good motivation for going up against the bad guy. The people that are giving him opposition have good reason to give him opposition. The bad guy is very mean and unlikable, and the guy playing the bad guy does a great job. So you want the cops to take down this villain. This movie really does have a very tense and gripping finale. They have this really great idea where there are guys with guns, and you know there are guys with guns, but you don't always see them. And during this final action scene, you get the feeling that they could come out of anywhere and just shoot our heroes. And there's no score, and it's atmospheric, and you really do feel the tension building. It's a type of action scene that you would not get in a comedy today, and it really was an impressively directed sequence. That being said, some of the jokes really just did not work on me the way I wanted them to. And this movie is not the best in terms of pacing, and other than that final sequence, it's not particularly well directed. It still has the basics though. Likeable characters, an investing story, a villain we want to see go down, and it still works as a movie. As well as some really great performances. I'm gonna give Beverly Hills Cop a B+.